All right, man. I think my last live stream got messed up, man, some type of way. But yeah, man. What's the thing? Is it going? Give me 1 second. But anyway, man. Um, just trying to discuss a few things so we can understand what we're dealing with today in this country as black people and understanding these new black codes. I say new black codes because um, there are black codes they put in place in America that they kind of want black people to live by, you know. But it's nothing, I ain't gonna say it's nothing new because I say new black codes, but this country has a history of black codes or unwritten rules and regulations that black people must live by. And to understand all this hate and vitriol that we got going on today against black people, anytime black people stand up to speak out for their people against anything, you see all this hate rhetoric online. Go back to Africa, you know, this country has given you everything. You know, we got a black president, all that, you know. So a part of the new black code is, you know, pretty much shut up and be quiet and be happy, right? That's how they want us to do. Shut up and be quiet and be happy with what you got because the country has been so good to you, you know. A lot of people don't agree with. A lot of black people don't agree, surprisingly, with what you call it, saluting the flag, man. You know, everybody don't have to. They don't. They. I think America doesn't realize how many people don't like standing up for that flag. I mean, we don't really speak out about it a lot, but you talk to us, a lot of us really don't care nothing about it because we understand that it's an injustice. The words are very contradictory, you know. So when Colin Kaepernick stood up to do what he did, or sat down rather to do what he did, you know, they lost their mind, man. I mean, I don't want to say all white people, man, but there's a lot of white people out there lost their mind when Colin Kaepernick refused to stand up for the flag. It's funny to me, but it leads to a bigger issue, a deeper issue, because I think they're afraid, man. Anytime a black person who has a big platform stands up, you know, they worried. The status quo, they worried because they want to know, okay, who else is standing up? Who else is gonna benefit? Are they finally waking up now? Right? I ain't stayed up. I ain't stand up either, man. Right? So they looking like, okay, all black people finally waking up now. When is the revolution gonna happen? This has always been a word, a fear in America. You know, so new black code. First, before you understand the new black code, understand the old black code. See, the old black codes happened after Reconstruction. If you don't know what Reconstruction is, Reconstruction happened after slavery was over, and initially Reconstruction was to help black people after slavery to acclimate them within American society, help them get jobs, help them rise in the political system, everything. You know, they're supposed to be equal and all that good stuff. They finally became African Americans and not slaves. So Reconstruction was to reconstruct American society to help these new citizens, kind of like illegal immigrants, be a part of the system. But as you know, when slavery was over, most of the black people had the job. Well, they had the skills, the mindset, and the work ethic to get things done. And in Mississippi alone, the black population of slavery was about 2 or 3 times that of white people. So black people was getting jobs, they was working, they was starting businesses, and a lot of white people was mad about that. So what they did, they went to the government, they started creating black codes. Pretty much black codes are things that criminalize black life. So when you criminalize black life, that means things you do as a black person, you can go to jail for. For instance, back then they had a lot of sharecropping, a lot of farming. So a black person couldn't sell his work or his farm supplies anytime after dark, or he would go to jail. A black person couldn't walk alongside the railroad tracks, or he would go to jail. They had anything called pig laws because back then was a lot of farming. Pigs by that in that time was worth like $1 or $2. So if a black person was caught stealing a pig, he could be charged and sentenced to hard labor, 5 years hard labor. So that's very it coincides with what's going on today with these weed charges, right? You know, war on drugs. Black person get caught with like a little ounce of weed, he getting life sentences. You know, it's still the same, and black and white do the same crime at the same rate, by the way. So during this time, right, back then the black codes, before slavery, if a slave committed a crime, or whatever, the slave master would discipline him. You know, would do what he do, but the courts would handle the white people. So after slavery, if a black person committed a crime, you know, he would get 10 times or even sometimes 20 times what he's supposed to get. And not only that, only 10% of white people after slavery were convicted of any crime. It's like 90% of all the crimes were committed by ex-slaves and stuff like that. So it's in a book called Slavery by Another Name. So during Reconstruction, after Reconstruction, they were trying to figure out a way how to get that power back because cotton was king in the South and it drove the economy. Don't let nobody tell you no different. During slavery and a little bit after slavery, the South, the Southern states, the Confederate states, the economy of the Confederate states was, I think it was the fourth largest economy in the world, and that was due to slavery. The fourth largest in the world during that time. So they broke that power. You know, so slavery and the Civil War wasn't about freeing the slaves. It was about money because the North was losing money to the South. The North could not compete with the South when it comes to finances, money, and getting that work. They had the industries and stuff. They had up north. They had the industry. They had like the vehicles and stuff like that. They had the manpower, but they didn't have the money. So the South figured out a way. How can we get this power back? So they created sharecropping. Pretty much sharecropping was another form of slavery where, you know, the white people still owned those plantations, and a lot of black people still lived around. So the white people were like, okay, you can still live on this plantation, on this land, but you have to work. You know, you have to work and pay some things off. So they would have all the goods and services. The white people, they would have all the goods and services, right? So blacks are working. They might need some plows or something. They might need some cows or something, or anything they needed to work. They'll buy it from the white people, or they might not have the money at the time. So they will lease it out, or they'll get it on credit, but they can never pay it back. It's like today, you purchase too much money on a credit card, you can never really pay it back, so you in debt all your life. That's how sharecropping was. So they made black people in debt all their life. If they couldn't pay it, sometimes they'll kill them. This is where you get the clans and stuff like that. Black people try to leave the South. They had clans running them down. This is where it comes from. And also, along with that, they created something called convict leasing. Convict leasing pretty much is the prison system, where you already had the black code where a black person can get committed for a menial crime and hit like 5-10 years of hard labor. So convict leasing, they started to see that, okay, now that we got these black people in prison and stuff like that, they making money because the 14th Amendment outlawed slavery, but it didn't outlaw slavery. It said unless, I don't know the correct word, but it said unless he in prison or something or committed a crime or something like that. So slavery is still legal if you're in the prison system. So convict leasing is pretty much that's where the prison industrial complex come from, right? So they ain't had no convict leasing before slavery, you know. So you got convict leasing. The way you take all these people who are in the prison system with 90% African Americans at that time, and they'll lease them out to different companies, like mining companies, railroad companies, businesses, everything that was building up America. When you see all these big buildings and stuff like that, that was convict leasing. You can pay like $9 a person a month, you know. But the reward of that, you getting all these railroads. We built these railroads, man. You know, look up some history about convict leasing. You'll see how they got so many stories of black people writing to the governors, telling them that this convict leasing is worse than slavery, because many of them were slaves before. So that's where the prison system come from. It's money, man. It's policing for profit. So to get more convicts, the police they created, the government created these black codes where the police will go out and see which black person committing a crime. Sometimes they just frame, oh, who are you? Sometimes you can go to jail for not even having a job. If you're walking along the street and you couldn't prove that you were working, they said, well, you're not working. You must be committing a crime. You going to jail. You know, it was crazy, man. So now you got black people flooding the prison system, which is making the prison system rich. companies saw this and they started paying people to go get, lock up black people, right? So that's how it was. So once you get in there, you couldn't get out. And in some of those letters, a lot of the black men said that, like I said before, that this was the worst. This was worse than slavery, man. So look up black code. It's a real thing. It's a look up black code. But I say we in new black codes today because, look at Trayvon Martin, Skittles and Ice-T. Look at I think Troy Davis. I believe that's the young man name. I believe in Florida. Loud music, wearing the hoodie. The police they be getting mad because black men looking at them the wrong way. One man got pulled over because he had, I said this before, he had air fresheners in his car, and the police said it was blocking his vision. Air freshener. Another form of black codes is you see a lot of our people, brothers and sisters, being pulled up by the police for menial traffic offenses, and they going to jail and losing their lives, man. It's crazy. So these are new forms of black codes. The war on drugs, where, we getting life sentences for menial crime, for like an ounce of weed and stuff like that. Trumped up charges. So it's the same thing. So they reinvigorating these black codes that they had in the past, and people say there's nothing wrong with it. And so the fact that we getting pulled over on these traffic offenses and losing our lives, man, and people justifying this crazy. So when Colin Kaepernick stood up, man, he kind of pulling back the covers and the hypocrisy of America, because America, by and large, wants to have this everything is okay, this politically correct attitude towards the world. There's nothing wrong. Yeah, that's racism, but that's a few bad apples. There's no such thing as a few bad apples, man. I think the whole tree is bad, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? For real, because it's crazy. So I applaud Colin Kaepernick for doing what he did, man. But really, look at the hate he got. Look at the hate he got. Look at how scared other athletes are about standing up with our brother, man. It's crazy. I don't know what to say sometimes, man. But people are afraid to stand up because of the backlash. I understand that, but we got to make sure that we stand with them and support them, man. We are supporting them. But what Colin Kaepernick did, man, he really put a eye on a problem in a place that people try to ignore it, which is sports, right? You got all these millions of dollars, all these athletes making this money. So the problems of America, people not really trying to watch a football game and be reminded of this racism, because they act like racism don't exist. And that's a new form of racism, acting like denying racism. So what he did, it made a lot of people uncomfortable, right? They forced to look at this problem, and you look at these message boards, man, about Colin Kaepernick, or any black person that really just stands up and says something that said this is wrong, we're being treated bad. Man, they made with so much hate, so much hate. It's crazy, man. So we gotta understand that, man. But please, please, please look up black codes. You'll be amazed at the things that they did back in late 1800, early 1900 that was by law. I mean, three black people really couldn't stand together in public by law. They couldn't walk beside a railroad track by law, because they thought that this was after slavery now. They thought that black people was running away from sharecropping and running away from, the plantation, so to speak. So it's very reminiscent of the thing that's going on there is very reminiscent of the old black code back then, because now anytime a black person stands up about anything, it's like, oh, you trying to run away from the plantation. You trying to run away from the status quo. You trying to shake up things, because if you shake up things, then other people are going to wake up, start shaking up things. Then we're going to lose our way of life. See, that's what the black code back in the day was about. It's about a way of life for certain people, for a lot of white people, but for certain people, right? Because, like I said, the South was booming with the money and slavery, and the prison industrial complex, convict leasing was profitable. And to disrupt that is disrupting the way of life, it's disrupting the money flow. So if an athlete like Colin Kaepernick and stuff like that in the NBA, if he stands up and starts speaking about it, it's going to put a disdainment on the NFL, right? It's going to disrupt the way of life. It's going to disrupt this honorable pastime that we have of making all this money. And they don't want that disrupted, man. That's why they didn't like Martin Luther King, because he spoke on this thing. That's why they didn't like Malcolm X. And people quick To quote Martin Luther King, yet they killed him. You know what I'm saying? They say Martin Luther King was about peace, and he was about peace. But towards the end of his life, man, he said he felt like he was leading his people into a burning house. You know, he said he never seen nothing like that before. You know, so they try to pitch Martin Luther King and Malcolm X against each other. Really, is on the same wave. But yeah, man. Like I said, I applaud what Colin Kaepernick did, man, because it's just a small gesture. But look at that. Look at that small gesture, man. It's a big small gesture. And look at the impact, the ramification. So imagine if we really start standing up, how it would shake things up. You know, and I'm ashamed of some of these other athletes, man. Calling Colin Kaepernick, you know, all type of names, saying he's stupid what he's doing. You know, it gets on my nerves, man, because we see the injustices that are going on. We try to ignore it, and it's a shame that the presidential candidates are not speaking up on this. You know, once black people start to say, "Yo, we dealing with this, we dealing with something," you know, then other people will try to counteract that and say, "Well, it's about America, it's about all of us," you know, or they're the president of everybody, not just black people. But when it comes to other people, when it comes to everybody get their wants and needs met. Like we look at the homosexual community, man. Nobody ever said when homosexuals want to get their rights and stuff like that they were fighting for, that they believed in. Nobody said that he not just the president of homosexuals, he's the president of everybody. You know, they put his feet to the fire and made him do something about it. But soon as we say, yo, we dealing with this, man, black people need some type of something. Oh, he the president of everybody. It ain't just about black people. You see it? You know, it hits on my nerves, man. But my thing is, I don't think we as a people, right, we don't need to look too much outside of who we are to get our problem solved. Yes, we need American society to help us, but I think the real solution is going to come from within ourselves, because they have never helped us and they don't want to help us. Even during Reconstruction, when the government supposedly was reconstructing the government to help black people, when pressure from the white people was put on, the government backed off. So at a certain point in time, you know, black people were doing good. You know, I think where Black Wall Street kind of came out of Reconstruction, because it gave black people that boost that we needed, just like the government gave every other race in this country a boost to get what they needed. So Black Wall Street kind of was birthed from Reconstruction. But once again, whites were looking at it and they was getting upset that black people were doing what they do. So they'll tell you, say, pull yourself up by your own bootstrap. But when you start to do that, they say, why I gotta be black, or why I gotta be this, or why I gotta be that. It's about everybody. Like we can't help ourselves, you know. And you see what happened with Black Wall Street. They bombed it, man. But once again, please look up black codes, because it's a very real thing in this country. There's so much history of oppression and so much history that we've been through in this country as black people that we don't learn in school. We don't learn in any university. You just don't learn it, so we don't know. You know, so sometimes I am a little upset with my people for not looking up their history, but at the same time, you can't expect them to teach you this stuff, because our history and the thing that we have done in this country, it counteracts the status quo. It counteracts America, right? So they can't teach you this stuff in school. So anytime you see a teacher really teaching black history in a public school, they get fired. Anytime you see it, you know. So we really have to like get our own thing going, or teach our people at home. You know, we may not have like the school buildings and stuff like that, but we have churches, we have mosques, you know, we have all type of little mom and pop stores where we can bring our people into these stores and hold classes and stuff like that. We can do this, man, because we got people out here with the knowledge of self. You know, we can have our own after school programs in these abandoned buildings and stuff. Not abandoned buildings, but you know, we got church buildings, we got mega churches out here that we can hold classes, and a lot of them do hold classes, right? A lot of them, I don't call everybody out, but by and large, it needs to be more. So, but a lot of times when we holding classes about come and learn about yourself, come learn about yourself, we don't show up, you know. But then when it starts to go down, everybody looking for the revolutionaries, man. You know, but I mean, you don't have to be a certain way to add to the cause. You don't have to be a Muslim, Christian. You don't have to be a hotel. You can just be who you are and just have the knowledge. My thing is, we don't have to be one way, because we are very diverse people, a very diverse people. So my thing is taking what you are and adding to the pot to make it a great thing, man. So yeah, For real, man. So yeah, man. I like I said, I don't want to sound repetitive, but I agree with Colin Kaepernick for his stance, and I really encourage everybody to really get out there and do something, baby, because it's important. But we're living in a lot of new black codes. It's a new black code. It's the new Jim Crow. It's slavery by a whole nother name now. But get a book called, I forgot who it's by, but it's a book called Slavery by Another Name, and it talks about the new form of slavery that we're dealing with today. Because it is slavery by another name. That's an old term, but it still comes up, man. So y'all stay up, man. But look up black codes, do some history, so you can know. It's not about just knowing history and just to sit on it. You have to understand the past to understand the present. Because if you don't understand the past, they're gonna pull it over your head once again. Every single time you're gonna get duped. See, a lot of white people, they know the past, they know the past, they know what we've been through, they know the history. That's why at every angle we getting blocked, because we don't know the history, and we ain't trying to learn the history because we feel like it's we feel like it's old stuff. We feel like it ain't got nothing to do with it. But then we get mad at cultural appropriation. Not all of us, but a lot of us get mad. I hate generalizations, but a lot of us get mad for cultural appropriation. But a lot of times we throw our own beauty away. We throw our own styles, our own everything. We throw it away, and white people go pick it up, and they say, "Hey, this is beautiful. This is nice," and then we get mad about it. I don't like that. But so when you look up black codes, you're gonna see a lot of similarities of how they criminalize black life. Just black life was just criminalized, like it is today, and it's popped back up today. And you got a lot of race soldiers out there, a lot of people who feel like they are police officers, but they're not police officers. Example, George Zimmerman. There's a lot of George Zimmermans out there that if they see the police, or they see you struggling with the police, they will come and help the police officer. And the police officer won't do nothing. They're not permitted to do that by law, but they'll do it anyway because they feel like black people should behave a certain way, or else. They say why you guys just can't help yourselves, man. But we know what's going on. We know what's going on. We smart, we intelligent, man. But we gotta use we gotta look inside ourselves and use what we know to make this thing happen, because we ain't getting no help from the outside, man. I'm a strong believer of knowing yourself, know thyself. I'm a strong believer of you taking what you know, your gifts and talents, and making something happen. And this is not to pull yourself up by your bootstrap mentality. This is more of a unity thing, because the only way we're gonna survive and be better as a people is if we unite. No one person has it all. No one person has the answers. But collectively, we got it, man. Because we got people who in certain fields know this, or got people in certain professions who know that. We got just regular people, everyday people who got the knowledge. They may not have been to school, but they got that spirit, and they know through life and experiences. They know. So we got to learn to stick together, man. Just like they did before segregation, right? Before integration. Yeah, before integration. How we used to really stick together a lot more. We had no choice but to stick together. That's when I think that's because the birth of like the Black Panthers and stuff like that, it came from because we were so integrated, but we were stuck close together, and we had no choice but to live, even though we still being oppressed the same way. But because we were stuck together, because we were made to stick together and live beside each other, and we couldn't assimilate, it made us stronger. So we got like stuff like the Black Panther movement, the Civil Rights movement. All that stuff came out of, like I said, black codes and reconstructions. You got I'm gonna listen closely, man. But you got to understand your history, man. You got to understand our history of before slavery and in this country, so we can draw from that, because like I said, the black code, reconstruction, black codes, civil rights. Look that up. It's a sequence, man. It happened, because so I forgot how I said it. Reconstruction, black code, civil rights, and the black code started with convict leasing too. So the civil rights and the Black Panther came up out of black codes and reconstruction. That's where they had all that fire, man, all that juice. You know what I'm saying? They were rubbing off juice, man, because they were being so oppressed, so beaten down. They ain't had no choice, man. This is what you get, like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. There were many Martin Luther Kings and Malcolm X's out there, just so you know. But they were just the most popular ones. But So this stuff was birthed. They were birthed from this stuff. Cause we were just being so oppressed. I mean, it was slavery. It really was slavery by another name. But the stuff, these things haven't stopped. And they kind of, for a while, they kind of calmed down. But it's right back where it was, man. You know, and because we were so segregated, that fire, that energy was just bouncing off each other, man. And once again, they try to demonize, like the Black Panther Party. They try to demonize them, man. So, oh, yeah, man. I just want us to understand our history, man. Do some research. Teach your kids about our condition in this country, man, because a lot of us living in la la land. We got to get out of that la la land mindset because every day something is happening, man. Every day we seeing our brothers and sisters go down, man. And it's not just with police brutality either. You know, it's with food, education, mental health, spirituality. All these things are being used against us, man. You know, we living in food deserts, and we eating unhealthy. I was talking to my homeboy up in Chicago, man. He working in a corporate building, and he was living close to the hood, so you know. But anyway, he was working in a corporate building in Chicago, right? So he was talking about how they eat. He said open these corporate offices. They not eating unhealthy. You know, he said they eating the best, not necessarily the best food like steak and shrimp, the best, but the best food as far as healthy food, organic food. Yes, they can afford it, but he said a lot of times they won't even touch anything like McDonald's, Taco Bell, you know, all these food places. And this is in corporate America. He works in corporate America in Chicago. This is my homeboy. And so he said it changed his way of thinking about food. He said before he started working there, he was eating the most unhealthy food he can get his hands on. But he said they only have a list. He said they don't even have a list of unhealthy food in those offices. You can only pick from, like, you know, the most healthy choices. But he said you can't do that. You can't do that type of work. You can't be moving millions of dollars around eating unhealthy because food messes with your psyche. You know, it messes with your health, obviously. It messes with the way you think, the way you feel, your emotions. So a lot of these people in, you know, upper echelon, they're not eating unhealthy like that. But if you go to neighborhoods, see mostly unhealthy stores, man, fast food, liquor stores, you know, so we gotta make sure we fight to, you know, get what we need in our neighborhoods, man. I'm fighting for that here in Atlanta, man. I'm hooking up with people who does nutrition and stuff like that, who knows the land, who knows how to do fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, and knows how to feed their people. You know, you don't necessarily have to have the knowledge yourself, because there's people out here who got the knowledge. You just got to hook up with them. You know, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You know what I'm saying? Because the knowledge is out here. We just got to take the wheel and use it for our benefit, right? We don't need to reinvent the wheel because the knowledge is out here. So, man, y'all stay up, man, and remember, look up black codes and compare it today so you can understand and counteract the things that are happening to us. I'm out, man. Spread this video.